welcome back to the RationalInvestor.com Broiler Chicken Show. Trade your trading plans, don't take too much risk on any one trade, and just let yourself get rich. Hello, everybody. Welcome back to the RationalInvestor.com's Broiler Chicken Show, our weekend frivolity. Wow. What the hell am I looking at? Looks like I'm actually looking at a previous video. That's kind of bizarre. All right. Let's see. Am I live now? RationalInvestor.com's Broiler Chicken Show. It's awfully delayed, eh? Look at that one from. What the hell am I looking at? Looks like I'm actually. I guess this is the video. There's an intro for you, eh? 10 years into this, and I still can't get this thing to do what it's supposed to do. Yeah, well. Kind of unfortunately, we're gonna have to dial back the assistance Brian gets for these videos here. So who knows what the quality of this stuff's gonna be like going forward. I suppose all that really matters is hopefully Brian's trying to keep you out of trouble and prevent you from chasing up markets like all the idiots over the past month who went piling into buying these damn cryptocurrencies at the top of the market, and encourage you to consider buying the bottom ends of trading ranges when assets actually start Wing and start spitting out indications from indicators that maybe they're spitting out W's. It's awfully hard for new people to reprogram themselves how to actually behave in the marketplace if you really want to make money from this craziness. Well, that's what my job here is, I suppose. I've been talking to you all here now on this social media platform for a better part of a decade now. I suppose at some point I'll probably head off into the sunset. The magic number is, when does my Bitcoin holdings get to the point where I can buy a house for my son? As soon as that happens, then I will officially hang up my shingle and head off into the sunset. That was the whole point of this exercise following my wife's passing, was just spend some time making a positive difference in this world and get Lily set up so he has a home and he has a nice, comfortable environment for the rest of his life. So wish me luck on my endeavor. That's the whole point of this exercise. If we can help you along the way, I think that's a win-win relationship. Going to be a bit of a shorter broadcast here today. Would like to, with it being the end of the calendar year, the sun basically disappears here in the Pacific Northwest, and I really don't like driving on these streets now that most of the people that are on these streets are not even Canadian. Who knows where the hell they learned how to drive in this world, but holy crap, it's dangerous as try not to swear here on YouTube. So I don't really like driving after dark here. And as a result, we dial everything back an hour or two. So I will be leaving here at noon today, maybe when it gets to the summertime and the sun never sets, and then maybe we'll go back to the later time for the video. But for now, I'm going to try and be done this by noon, so we get about an hour to work with you here today. I don't even know whether you guys even get any value out of all of this. The feedback that I get from a lot of you is that you find it very valuable. I do think, though, that I'm the type of person that I'm not going to tell you what to buy or sell. It's not my job. And frankly speaking, nobody really knows what the hell is going to happen in the marketplace. And anybody that does tell you that they know what's going to happen in the marketplace, and it's it's a lock on this one. Generally speaking, you're setting yourself up for disaster following that person. If anything, half of this game is you actually have to acknowledge that really at the end of the day, all we are is statisticians. And at some point, you will be proved wrong by the market. That's just the way the market works. And half of the job is, of course, just take appropriate risks. And I see a lot of people have a very, very hard time with that concept. Been tweeting out through the weekend, of course, comments about, in the TRI lounge, we're debating about who is actually this current crypto cycle's fraud in the making. Every cycle, there's always one. In fact, sadly, because this is venture capital, there'll be multiples. Will it be another SBF kind of scenario? I actually don't think so. I think a lot of people got really hurt by sort of the blind belief in SBF there. And I did find it interesting that his girlfriend, who completely sold him out, is now almost being let out of jail and prison now, while SBF has got to sit there and rot for the next 20 years. I tell you, yeah. If anything, that SBF guy, man, made some really, really poor decisions in his life. And it's too bad because he's seemed like he's a very intelligent young man. Just goes to show. What I often tell people in my tweets and stuff like this is I will never tell you what to buy or sell, because I mean, the irony of it all is I actually come from the brokerage industry, where in Canada we're like borderline communist here. But if there was ever a situation where a broker had to go to court, the judge wouldn't even listen to the broker. He'd just simply say, okay, you're the plaintiff over there, right? Oh, you gave the broker a bunch of money to go and buy something and you lost money. Fine, broker, go and pay actually, there's somebody who wants to join the call here. Imagine that. Go and pay the customer back. And on top of that, here is a $50,000 fine for wasting the court's time, and you are officially barred from the industry for the next 5, 10, maybe even a lifetime. So the brokers in my country and anybody who's sort of involved in that sort of, the investment advisory kind of side of it, regardless of whether it's off of like a OTC exchange or whether it's actually some big board listing or something like that, they are absolutely obsessive about not getting themselves into legal trouble, making false promises and claims of grandeur and stuff, which sadly it seems like this crypto space, because it is venture capital, because it is completely unregulated, although I think that's probably changing pretty quickly here. Very open and susceptible to these horrific crimes. And the irony of it all is, even with all those absolutely stringent regulations in my country, we still had things like Quadriga. So, I mean, the worst part about it is these stupid humans. It's the same damn story, cycle in, cycle out. People don't want to have to do the hard work of learning how to manage money, learning how to take appropriate risk, learning how to identify what actual good investment idea looks like, and then managing their behavior through the whole investment process. And I hate to say it, but that's the number one reason why I built the school program that we teach at TRI, 10, 15 years ago, was just simply to teach people the process, learn the process of how to actually do this correctly. And then you don't have to sit and listen to some other person touting an idea. You can actually do your own research. You can create your own setups. I mean, the irony of it all is there's a million different ways to skin this cat. You all know that. And the irony of that is that, me barking this message the most of the people that actually listen to this video, and you've already bought the punch. You've already drunken the Kool-Aid or whatever the hell the term is. So I'm just preaching to the choir. I guess what I'm really, there's probably like one or two people that are going to watch this video through the coming week or two that I'm trying to get through to. Learn how to take responsibility for your own actions. That's what this is all about. Learn how to, just be responsible. And the great part about it is the process never changes. The process 100 years ago when WD GAM was running around is exactly the same as the process that I'm teaching you here today. There's no difference at all. In fact, here's a nice little treat for you. Make it really simple. And let's see, this is your first opportunity, all you YouTubers, to jump through a hurdle. How many reasons? Well, actually, no, we don't want that's jumping ahead. Let's actually back up and let's start from the beginning. And this includes even you two here in the call with me here today. And where's our Glass Insights guy? Geez, I think this is the first time in a year or two we haven't seen him on the call here. But let's just see whether 40 people watching this video. Let's see how many of you can actually jump through this hurdle. How many rules does Brian have when it comes to investing? It's about as easy gets. How many rules are there? We'll do the good old Jeopardy. And this is your, how many people on YouTube actually take the time to try and educate you? To actually try and interact with the audience and wait for your answers. All right, there's Kevin's already given an answer. And unfortunately, Kevin, you're wrong because you're not listening to the question. Oh, Laura's wrong too, or Lori. Nore's right because Nore actually, keep in mind, Nore's been around with me for, Jesus, what is this, 2024? You must have been here at least 5 years, eh, Nore? If not longer. But this was actually when I used to be a broker. This is what I used to sit down and talk to clients about. And the funny thing is, of course, is that nobody ever likes to follow the rules. So whenever I tell them the rules and I tell people the rules, oh man, rule number one's the fun rule, but rule number two is the rule that nobody likes. So it's interesting. Guilt says one. No, see, Nazgul, you didn't actually listen to the question. Isn't that interesting? So, and the cool part about it, of course, is we do have this library. I don't know whether I like these articles. Somebody came along here and actually rewrote these articles. I don't know whether I really like them or not, but this isn't my original article. And I suppose if I head on my way, I'll probably just go get my original articles back. But let's see. Do we have here in here? Yeah, I don't know whether I really like this. No. This isn't the way that I would do this, but nonetheless, it's interesting how they even got rid of my fun pictures that I used. Anyway, we have my two rules here. Nope. It's basically the same thing as the previous article. No, they're no good. Fuck, I don't know who wrote these damn things. I gotta get rid of this crap. Not a shame. Gotta go find my original articles back and put them on here. But the point here is that we should have two reasons for acting in the marketplace. Well, two reasons, two rules. Rule number one, actually, this is even in like the intro to the course document. I don't even know whether we even have that here or not. Fascinating. Anyway, kind of wasting time here with you guys. Sorry about that. Well, anyway, these are pretty generic articles, although I'm not quite sure why my 2 rules of investing are not in here. I'm gonna have to go back through the week and get rid of all this because it's not what I was expecting to see there. Anyway, 2 rules. First rule is try and find some sort of algorithmic approach to your investment process. Ideally, we'd like to have 3 unrelated reasons. If this and that and the other thing, then you can act. It's a pretty good algorithmic process. Ideally, you'd like to see that about, let's call it 2 out of 3 times. If you take a setup, you'd ideally like to see it perform. I definitely think, and over the time that I've worked here in the crypto space, I think we've got this down pretty cool, pretty cool, calm, collected. I don't know. Location, indicator confirmation, price structure. I think those 3 unrelated reasons work really, really well. I do like the idea of selling half on doubles, getting basically a risk-free trade established. And then once you're in that position, who cares? Well, market will do whatever it wants to do. Once you de-risk yourself, then, notice. And for the record, I thought it was interesting. I put out this funny tweet here today. This doofus here, Alan, of course, it was great when Alan was in Bitcoin there barking about it and everybody told him to fuck off and get the hell out of our space. Of course, I'm still on this idiot's platform here, and I'm going to lose the bet. I said I was bet this guy $100 that I'd get off this platform by the end of the year. And everybody's like, well, why? Yeah, stay on it. Alan's awesome. But I did find it funny. He actually made a quote to this guy's movie, and my response is, how ironic that he makes that quote to this guy, because technically, actually, both of them are wearing toupees, so they're actually a lot more similar than unalike. The only issue is this guy's wearing a toupee to fake being bald. This guy's wearing a toupee to fake actually having hair. So I found that kind of funny. But anyway, for the record, this is my hair, all of it, with the beeswax and everything and the receding hairline. But that's the type of guy that I am. In fact, I even put out a tweet before that, and it was in our newsletter here this week that, I don't even give a shit. I'll tell you about what I'm buying. It's just, so what? The irony of it all is that you should look at this image and go, geez, that's it. That's it. Hey, Nora, you're there. I mean, God, you must have seen this same image like at least 100 times over the past 5 years, eh? Oh, Nora's got a hop. He's gone. Any of the rest of you? Have you ever seen an image like that from the Beamish before? Does that look at all familiar? What's so funny is this, and I literally just added to this position today on this beautiful double bottom here. I don't know what the fuck's gonna happen. I really don't. I don't have a crystal ball. I'm sorry, folks. And I don't even care whether you buy anything that I talk about. But at the same time, too, I am an open book. I know what the process is. And like I said, my poor old wife passed away and lived an absolutely horrible, tortured life. And the promise that I made to her, I mean, I think I was given an incredible gift by her actually coming back after she died and interacting with me. I don't think that that's allowed to happen very often, but it was just so traumatic and so, fucking end of the world that I honestly think that Spirit said, you know what? Let's not have 2 disasters in a row, because I was ready to take my own life. I didn't give a shit anymore. And I honestly think that they said, look, you go back and you tell them. You don't have to tell them exactly what's going to happen, but just tell them. And specifically her words, Brian, you have the opportunity to make a positive difference in this world. She never said I would. She never said I was going to. She just said I had the opportunity. But the number one thing with something like that, for me to actually make that difference in this world, is that you people have to trust me. You have to believe that I'm not blowing smoke up your ass. And if it's one thing that I think builds trust with you, is I will just tell you what I'm doing in the marketplace. And then, of course, when this damn thing pops, which I don't see any reason why it won't, man, I got to make damn sure to sell half on a double and build that risk-free position. And I just keep doing the same things over and over and over. I don't ever reinvent the wheel. It's exactly the same thing over and over and over. And what's so cool is you go into our library here and you go and look at the setups. And what's so funny, right? Trading range setups, that's basically what this is. And you look at our shark setup. Where is this shark? Bullish shark setup. And this is exactly the same image. You tell me what's the difference. There's that image. This is what I just did today. And here is the shark setup from, I don't even know what year this is. Does it even have the date on here? Well, you can see 2017. There's, yeah, beginning of 2017. It's exactly the same image. Identical. Isn't that funny? So I don't really do anything unique here. It's just I have been given how do you say this? I mean, keep in mind, this is like 30, and now it's like 40 years. I can't believe how long I've been at this. I got my first job in this business in 1988. That's how long I've been at this silly game. So I guess 4 years shy of 40 years. And I went to university and stuff in the interim and stuff, so I wasn't working from 1988, but 1988 was when I officially caught the bug. Anyway, so can you learn from this? I don't know. If you can, man, this is an incredible opportunity. And I think that these opportunities are presenting themselves here. And what I do find interesting, of course, is the sad part about it is you go and look, and everybody think. Whoops, I don't want to leave the call. How did I just do that? Oh, I screwed something up here. Hold on. How do I minimize that? I guess I think I'm still recording. All right. Anyway. All right, Rowana says rule 101, risk first approach and follow the plan. All right, well, that's okay. That wasn't exactly what I was asking. 2 rules of investing. Rule number 1, use an algorithmic systemic approach to make your investment decisions that need to be at least 2/3 accurate. 66%, shoot for that. Then rule number 2 is risk first approach. Like you said, you have to identify what type of risk taker you are. But the simple rule is never, ever, 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 ever risk, which means, lose more than 5% of your stake on any one single idea. And really, for like futures traders and stuff like that, you should really risk like a fraction of that, half or a quarter, or even like 1%. Those are the 2 rules. Write them down if you can. It'll save you a lot of headache in this world. The only problem is people just don't want to follow the rules. That's half of my job here, folks. Really, we could probably end the broadcast right there. All right, I've said my piece. Have yourselves a great day. And there is that little idea. I mean, look at the volume pouring in on this thing here today. I don't know what the news is, but gee whiz. Whenever I see W's that look like that, look at the W in RSI. So we know at the very least the bears have been told to cool their jets. I suppose based on Brian's RSI system, if we got another W in here, oh boy, that would be a massive buy signal. But for the time being, I'm more than happy just to step in at the bottom end of the range and actually add to this position. I did get a fill right against the lows here into this gap. I think there's a gap on here somewhere. I don't know where it is. So I don't know whether you know what the story is here. Frankly speaking, I don't even know what the fundamentals are. I just see a chart that looks like this, and I'm shopping away looking for stuff to buy, and I'm like, "Holy crap! I want to buy that." And I did. And I don't care whether you buy it or not. I really don't care. Hey, double uses. It says, I remember trading Blitz then. Yeah. Okay, W's, you probably were around. In fact, I remember, wasn't it? I always make reference to, I think it was you and I were sitting and it's a great story because it's a perfect anecdote of crypto. Where I was sitting in the TRI lounge, and it was the middle of February, and some little chickie came on the site and totally flirted up with me. Turns out she literally stole everything from the TRI course material. And the site just like literally came in and just copied everything. But she like totally kissed my ass. That's how she got in. And then, like a month or two later, mysteriously, she was up on her Facebook page selling a course on how to invest in Ethereum. And the irony of all of that was that this setup here through 2017, this was the big bull. And I don't know whether it was this year or maybe it was, I think it was this year. It might have been 2018. But anyway, she literally came in as soon as she had her website up and running and she was teaching her course, and look how smart she was. In comes the top, and by time crypto winter came along, never saw anything posted on her Facebook page again about trading. And I always like to check in every once in a while just to see if the stupid bimbo idiot had gotten religion and actually had learned how to actually trade and invest. But no, I don't think she ever did. She was in some weird cult. Anyway, you remember that, Kevin? I remember sitting in the lounge with you because she totally was flirted the shit out of me, and actually made me feel like, oh, well, maybe there is a future for Brian. Oh, and these women. No, turns out she was just a big fraud. Which sadly, of course, an interesting commentary on this stupid human species. So take advantage of me while you got me. She did, but I don't think she ever learned. If you can self-teach yourself, in fact, we used to have a guy who did exactly the same thing. Literally watched all these free YouTube videos, didn't kiss my ass, which was, I suppose, a good thing. And went off and became like, I don't know, I'm some website expert guy, just watching all of my videos and just learning everything that I'm trying to teach all of you. So I don't know, folks. Seems to be the shit. I mean, I've been here 10 years. No, you don't remember her? I could show you a picture of her. I don't think she ever shared any pictures though on the site. Like like I said, she really kissed my ass, but she was basically here to steal all of our information. Oh well, what can you do? Anyway, so the point of the matter here is I'm not actually reinventing everything. It's just I know the process, and all I'm doing is I'm just following the process. And really, you could argue it's just doing the same thing, same shit, different pile. In fact, actually, I did all of this back there in November before we got this. We had the election results and the whole fucking market went crazy. But all of these, it's basically the same thing. Although, no, this isn't the right screen. Where do I have this? I think I have it over here. One of these. One of these screens, and I always do it on my laptop, which means that I don't have it over here. Nope, it's not over there. Well, this one might be it. Let's see. Mind you, there's no write up here, so I don't think so. Let's see. Maybe survey says. Nope. Oh, maybe. Yep. Oh, yep. No. Yep. I think that's it. But I don't see any. Oh, yeah. Here we are. Oh, this one doesn't have the sell on it. Anyway, bought this down in here, and you can see, yeah, 300-400 bucks. And I know we got a sell off on a double. It's weird how my laptop does these. Anyway, hopefully you can see it's pretty straightforward stuff coming in at the bottom end of the range. Then when it pops, go and pay yourself. And I often go through these. See, here's actually ADA right here. This is a really good example of names that I just can't even look at right now. So remember I showed you the one that I just did buy, right? That was, and hopefully you can see the difference. So that was this GAL, right? So I'm down in here buying at the bottom end of the range, not up here, down here against the original W's. So, I mean, you look at something like ADA, and hopefully you look at this and you go, well, gee whiz, there's the bottom end of the range, and here we are here. Ooh, does that look the same? No, it looks completely different. And so, this is what worries me about things like Allen. Is people probably think, hey, I'll go and buy some Allen and I'll do perfectly fine. And anybody who chased up there, boy, they're in a world of hurt right now. But you can clearly see, based on that previous logic, here is the original market structure bottom. Here is that 78.6, and here we are way up here. So there's no way in hell I could go and buy Allen here. So, that's the kind of world that we're in. A lot of these names, they just don't look buyable at all. And you have to have the patience and discipline just to leave them alone. Yeah, too many scams these days. AM, crypto M. Yeah. I'm very, very disappointed in the way that ethics has just been completely thrown right out the window. I do think that the West will come back around to its ethics. I think, unfortunately, the Americans paint themselves in a nasty corner there following the baby boomer sort of greed cycle peak there in 2000. And they basically had to play ball with the only people who would help them out in their bad situation, the Chinese. And we all know that, of course, that was Chinese-based CCP, Winnie the Pooh, whatever you want to call it. It's all just basically a mafioso. And they raped their country just horribly. In fact, actually, one, kind of a fun tangent here. If you are into the whole China thing, I really, really like, and this I think is an excellent commentary. I don't give, and I often tell students this, and I tell anybody that I work with in the market, I couldn't give a shit whether you're black, white, green, yellow, blue, purple. All of our money is the same damn color, right? It's all technically green except for China D's, where we live with plastic money. But as a great analogy, I absolutely love this lady. She is awesome. And I love, one thing I totally respect, and actually we have a site OG, Steven, and actually maybe it's this one. No, actually this is a different one. I beg your pardon. And if you actually look at the economics inside China, it's shocking. The whole fucking house of cards is falling apart. It's almost comical. But there was a cute little Chinese lady, and I like watching her videos now. She calls herself Lee, I think. Could be Lei. And of course, you want to know what's going on in my country. This summarizes it perfectly. And it's a bad situation when ladies walk up to these politicians and ladies actually go and tell this guy to go fuck himself. Like, that's how bad this situation is in my country. And this guy's completely owned by CCP. In fact, he's even publicly said how much he loves the CCP. So it just goes to show. And this guy, he was right all along, Harper. I mean, I know Harper himself is very polarizing, but at the same time, too, he was 100% right about this idiot. Total doofus, totally fucked up my country for a generation now, probably going forward. But anyway, what I wanted to show you was my little Chinese lady friend. She is so cool. I love Little Chinese women that are fucking full of piss and vinegar, you absolutely love them. They don't take shit from anybody. I sadly, unfortunately, geez, I can't remember where the hell I put it. Um, I was even watching another one from her this weekend. And thing is, I don't watch YouTube on this TRI channel. So I don't know whether it's over here or not. Anyway, I can't remember what her name is. It's Lee, Lei, I think. Actually, I might even just be able to type it in here. Called like the Lee Report or something like that. But anyway, if you have an opportunity, there she is. She's fucking awesome. Absolutely. And I love people with chutzpah. Absolutely love that. So don't for a minute ever think that I'm some fucking like, Asian racist or something. And I think the whites are better than the Chinese or the Japanese or what. That's not me. You don't know me if you actually think that, because I love calling out people who hold mafiosos and the like to task. Those are the type of people that I love in this world. So big thumbs up to Miss Lee. And if you want a real look at the shit show of China, uh, maybe subscribe to her. In fact, actually, this is the TRI channel, so I'm not going to do anything here. But my own personal YouTube channel, of course, I subscribe to her. So anyway, and the stories. I mean, God, there was one lady in China who actually tried to call out the fact that people were dropping like flies, not because of COVID. You know what they were dying from? HIV. And she was like literally beat up. She was excommunicated. She relocated to the United States. She's a doctor simply because she was calling out the fact that people in her town were dropping like flies because of HIV, of all fucking things. Anyway, so hats off to you, Miss Lee. You keep on rocking it. You are awesome. All right. I'm not quite sure how I got off on this crazy ass tangent today. As I said, I only got about an hour or so to talk to you guys, and I've already burned through a half of the time. But good old Brian. I mean, I'll tell you, if you want to learn the process, you want to learn how to make money from trading, I think TRI is the best place. And more importantly, because we're going to be teaching you the process here and how do you build a plan that actually is a business of actually making money from trading. That's the kind of stuff that we're teaching you here. Now, whether you buy the stuff that I buy, well, great, awesome, all the power to you. But I won't be insulted whatsoever if you're like, Brian, I appreciate you're taking a shot on that, but that's just not my flavor. I won't be insulted. I don't care. It's not that big of a deal to me. I'm here to make money with my own money, right? TRI, if anything, all I want to just make sure is that TRI doesn't go under. And, the fucking burn rate for these stupid websites and stuff, it's insane the amount of money that we spend just to keep this stupid place up and running. So you want to join me on my personal investing journey? Awesome. Great. Love you. You're more than welcome to join us. If you want to pass, that's fine by me too. And in an interesting sort of way here, like I said there a moment ago, there's actually a lot of crypto names that I'm not really overly impressed with. Certainly couldn't touch dog money here. This is just basically coin toss. And as I showed you, names like ADA, actually, this has to me an actual bearish chart pattern working as we speak. I'm not going to really go into too much detail on it, but anybody that's been working with me for a while knows what's going on there. And interestingly enough, even something as simple as Ethereum, I actually think there's a short setup that could potentially be working here. So it's an interesting market here. Names that are trying to bottom. All right, I'll go take a nibble. Nanny nibbles, little old ladies. You know how that game goes. And ironically enough, from names like Ethereum, believe it or not, I could actually justify a short setup here. And if I'm not mistaken, I think I was going to do this for the site. I'm not quite sure how to short something like Ethereum on Kraken. I'm not quite sure how an open short works that, but kind of like what I've done over the past. I'll definitely demo this for you at the very least. If I can figure out a way to do this on Kraken, I'll probably throw the trade on too. But there is the trade, and it's what is it? So it's like a $1,500, $1,600 trade. Not that much. But this should be a pretty good demo for you. So you can see, if anybody who's been working with me for a while, they'll know that this is one of my favorite setups to trade. That basically is a bastardization of the harmonic pattern, A to B, C to D. So this is the A to B leg there, boom, boom. And if market acts in a continuation pattern, which it often does, and we see A to B, C to D, that's what this teal line is. We can change that to C to D. There we go. So what I'm contemplating here is if the market does put in a bearish structure, and what's bearish structure? Just think of something like an M, that's bearish. You're going to want to short the breakdown, and in essence, the move through this low here actually changes the dynamic of this market. Like you might have seen something like this, where this is what they call a bull market, higher highs and higher lows. But then you'll notice, hey, something's changed here. So you could make the argument that that's an uptrend, higher highs and higher lows. And then something changes here where we're making lower highs and lower lows. And the most important event is that break right there. And ironically enough, that's actually where most people kind of discount this. They don't even think about that event right there, but that is the most important event right there. So you hopefully can see I've got one higher high, and then one lower high, and then another lower high, and then another lower high. Oh boy, if this thing actually goes through that 25 level, this is going to be like an M within an M. Oh boy. And actually, if I'm not mistaken, I think this high over here is higher than these highs, right? Because I've got that funny trend line right there. So anyway, the point of the matter here is if we go through $3,301, we'll call it. You see, it says 3,389 cents. If we go through that, then my hunch is we're going to be continuing to work our way lower. And kind of like the logic of that little name that I bought, here is 78.6, and here is that original market structure bottom. So you can even see this is another really, really important point that I hope you all get, because if you don't understand this, you're never going to succeed as a trader. Never. And yet, God, I see so many people make this mistake every fucking day. It drives you crazy. If you ever think about going into the marketplace and risking your hard-earned money, then you must know before you put the trade on. You must know, number one, where you are going to enter the trade. Let's maybe make this a little bigger so you can see it. And then by definition, but again, you must know this before you put the trade on, where you are going to exit the trade. And then this, unfortunately, gets like a subset where you say either A, where you are going to take profits because you're so damn smart at calling markets, or B, where you are going to admit you were wrong and go into capital preservation. mode. And you got to know this before you ever put a trade on. Now, and it's interesting that this became so popular over the past decade. There are different ways that you can approach this, admit that you're wrong. Remember, we said there's two, rules to investing. And if as long as you don't break the rules, then you really shouldn't be in trouble. So by definition, if rule number 2 is never, ever, 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 ever risk more than 5% of your stake on any single idea, well, technically you could go put like 1% of your stake in here and just say, look, at my rule is I think that this is going to go up. And if it goes off the board and I lose that 1% of my stake, well, then so be it. Right. And I coined this term because this was actually a lot of my clients. The problem here is I would never justify even thinking about buying an asset for my elderly client base up here. I just wouldn't do it. You know where I'm a buyer, right? Reload zones, Brian's favorite fib, shark setups, all that kind of stuff. So you have to understand, number one, the type of risk taker you are to be able to deal with B. But then also, two, depending on the type of risk taker you are, then that might preclude you from even considering participating in this type of trade setup. And, you all probably are familiar with the little old lady concept. It was so popular that last decade that actually people that really don't know what the fuck they're doing in the market literally stole the idea. And I hear this reference all over the net. It's the weirdest places. It pops up completely randomly. Oh, I'm a little old lady. Oh, you are you? Well, let's really see whether you are a little old lady or not. And then the market starts to break down and they're all bitching and complaining. And it turns out actually you weren't a little old lady all along, were you? You were some little cocksucking Joe Sixpack running around in a wig and a shawl pretending you were a little old lady. And man, I've seen plenty of those over the years too. Anyway, so the point of the matter here is you want to take a screenshot of this. This is how you learn how to trade and make money from trading. It's the process. You must know before you ever put any position on ever where you're entering, where you're going to take profits, where you're going to admit that you're wrong and get the fuck out. Simple as that, especially if you're trading setups. And actually, we even had one recently on Litecoin that was running up here. I don't know whether this was it. It was like off like a 4-hour chart. And actually, I even just walked on the trade, although I don't know where the hell I have it written up. Actually, I probably have it in Brian's. If you are a site member and you ever want to go see what I'm doing on this Discord channel, there is a channel that specifically says Brian's trades, and I post every single trade that I do in the market in here. So you can see there's that GAL that I was telling you about there earlier. But there was a pretty good example of a bot setup that I took on Litecoin, and it turns out that it was profitable, but just marginally so. And you just have to follow the rules and just take your lumps, and there was there. So let's see, do I have it up here? Yeah, I think this was the original setup. So this is a bullish one, right? So the Ethereum one that I just showed you, this is a potential bearish one. So this setup works both directions. So this is the bearish AB equals CD harmonic. Boom, 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 boom. And of course, if we start breaking down through 25, then the setup breaks the actual pattern into quarters. So basically, I'm going to risk this quarter, and I'm looking to take profits at this level. Also, dangle some out. The way I like to do this is I like to sell half of the position at take profit one. Of course, stop because we've hit 66. That means I can't officially start trailing my stops based on stop management rules that I teach in our education program. But you can see I also have a take profit down here at 1.272, and I also have another take profit sometimes you see, and you can see I'm even more than happy to buy Ethereums down here at 1,600 bucks, which of course will make all of you puke your in fact, I even put this setup, and like really what I say is like I'm not going to get into the business of predicting the future. I don't know what the hell is going to happen in the future, and frankly speaking, none of you do either. And don't kid yourself. I hate how people are like, "Oh yeah, I could predict the future. I know exactly what's going to happen," and then something happens, and they're like, "Oh well, I just delete my social media account, and you never heard from me again." I hate that about this world. I mean, like I said, I'm an open book. I am 100% honest and genuine with all of you. I know the process. You want to learn how to make money from trading? Great, learn the process. But I'm not going to tell you, oh, go and buy that. You're guaranteed to make money. I mean, that's not how this game works. Anyway, back to our conversation. So here's a bearish setup, but ironically enough, this is a bullish one. It's just the exact opposite. And a fun little treat for you if you're just curious. At any given point in time, you can always tell the validity of a setup. If you just turn it upside down, you should be able to take the exact opposite trade. So there's a fun little tidbit for you. Anyway, I even put this out and I said, if the bull is done, then it's done. And that's just the way that it is. I'm more than happy to hop back on this short because remember, I had a short on this thing working all through. Actually, the majority of 2024, we were short Ethereum, which is kind of funny. Only got out of that in November, the remainder of it. And then what a surprise, market literally topped out and is now telling us to get short again. That's kind of funny. So as I sort of said, on Friday's video, I walked through the whole site and how we're going to do this. I haven't figured out how to short on Kraken, but I wouldn't have a problem taking this short setup there if it fires 6 to 1, half dozen the other. Just take appropriate risk, right? Just, don't go blow your account up off of one damn trade. But what I wanted to show you was the fact that, and I guess it was off the Discord thing, wasn't it? Yeah. So this is exact opposite. This is a bullish one, right? Where we had successive higher lows. The bot entry, in fact, maybe you can't even see that. Let's just zoom in. And I don't know what's going to happen here, but anyway, market held these lows. In fact, my stop was just below here. It came damn close to getting stopped out, but didn't. Move stop to scratch, move stop to trailing. It was ratcheting up higher here, but then a big fat M came in. And according to the trading rules, it just got to follow the plan. If an M comes in here, I got to get out. And that's basically exactly what I did. It turns out that was slightly profitable. There's nothing wrong with that. Where the hell did that damn thing go? Oh, it was off Discord, wasn't it? That was here. And so you can see it came darn close. There is that 66. We didn't really see anything further than that. So I had to start trailing stops. Locking in, you can see, in fact, actually, there was an M here. I could have hopped off at that 50, but I gave this a little bit more room to work. And big fat M came in, so I just got the hell out of there. And that's just the way trading works. Turns out this was profitable, not hugely so, but a profitable trade's a profitable trade. I don't know what's going to happen here with Ethereum. Nobody does. Don't kid yourself. If the setup comes in, don't be shocked if you hear that. I mean, like you already saw, we have the order working here on this paper trading platform. But I wouldn't, if I can figure it out, if we break through these lows here, I'll be more than happy to join the short trade here. So anyway, we'll see what happens. Only time will tell. A little bit of red on the screen here, right? And I suppose how ironic this little GAL just sticking out like a sore thumb today. I always love that. Corn, probably see the same message, and we got about 10 minutes left here, so I'll probably wind this up now. Good old Bitcoin. This is a daily Bitcoin chart. If we do lose these lows, it wouldn't surprise me if we have to come back down to 38.2s and 50%. This is the futures contract. This gap was sitting wide open for quite a while. We might just have to go right back down and fill in that gap. We'll see what happens. It's not a bad technical objective. Also, too, you can see there's basically, I'd call this like double distribution on the profile. So you have one small profile up here where value low should be a buying window and value high should be a selling window. And I would make the argument this is like a muac, and it stands for kiss in Spanish, and use your imagination. Why would a gentleman talk about wanting to kiss certain portions of anatomies? Anyway, Brian being silly. So, this actually represents, interestingly enough, a very important pivot. This low here should actually be key support. And then the gap itself is actually a pretty important information as well. If the market can actually bottom here and start heading back higher with this gap still open, then that's actually extremely bullish. If we have to come back down and fill in the gap, then it means that there's just not that much demand for this asset, and they have to go and find where the last place was that there actually was some demand. And so, in a weird sort of way, you can see how the profile is very empty in here, right? We just gapped higher and went straight up. So, if the market does fail this head and shoulders top, I'd say odds are we probably have a pretty good chance that we're going to run after that low. And I would say there's probably a very, very good chance that we have to fill that gap in. So, is that what happens here through this January effect window? Only time will tell. This hasn't broken down yet. You might just find that this thing just sits and goes sideways. I wouldn't say it has failed just yet. I would say that the bear does have the ball. This is a 3-bar fractal here that's trying to fire. So if I come back from Liam and it's sitting in here and then boop, we open up a new day and you do see this thing breaking through this low here, then clearly the bear is in charge. Also, too, based on our newsletter, there are a few things. Number one, the GOX, not GOX, FTX, right? They're going to try and return the dollar figures back to the people who lost money with them. So you might find, I'm not quite exactly sure how they're going to liquidate this. I don't know whether people get back actual US dollars or whether they're going to get their cryptocurrencies back. You did see Cryptopia started to distribute assets as well. And we did get Bitcoin back there. So I'm sure there's probably some people with Cryptopia coins that want to sell. And that's going to add to the pressure. I don't know how this FTX thing is going to play itself out. But I wouldn't be surprised if there's a bit of selling pressure around that. Now it might just be they're just move their money out of whatever whatever the FTX bankruptcy proceeding is. I have no idea. I was never on the site. Also, too, according to our newsletter, thank you very much, Chris, for helping me put this together. Turns out that we have another debt ceiling crisis developing in our near future. Not a big surprise, although Granny, is she even relevant anymore? Do we wait till the new Treasury Secretary comes in to solve these problems? I don't know, but she's saber rattling about how the American population is going to have to go and bail out all these fucking Wall Street cocksuckers again with more unending debt. Sure would be nice if we could get to the point where these stupid governments could actually live within their means. I'm not quite sure how we got down this fucking rabbit hole of shit that we live in. And it'll probably take like 10, 20 years to clean all this shit up. Welcome to the lost decades. So anyway, there's also that overhanging us. I got the impression that we were going to see a rally into the inauguration. We might just find that actually the whole buildup that you saw, because, when I talk to people on the site, the number one thing I say is this is too far, too fast. You can see the natural growth rate just off of this double bottom. That's your trend line there. So how ironic, 50% retracement is this, log. So 50% retracement brings us back down to 79. For whatever it's worth, Tom Lee, he put out an article recently, and I respect his thoughts immensely. He thinks that Bitcoin could easily come back to 60, 70,000 bucks, which ironically enough is just a revisit of value. This is where everybody is long this thing, not up here. And so I can understand Mr. Lee's thinking there. It makes sense. It's not outlandish, and it doesn't mean Bitcoin's going off the board by any stretch of the imagination. And for whatever it's worth, I did find it interesting. Mr. Lee also, and if we look at this perspective, this is the chart that I just put out, and or a derivative of this in the weekly offering here, wherever the hell that is. It shouldn't surprise any of us looking back in hindsight where we stopped where we did. Is this the top? I don't know. In fact, actually, I think this ABCD that I drew is actually slightly wrong. Because I was looking at it and I saw that the price like hit a very specific point, and I was like, there's no way that could be the case. And it turns out that actually it wasn't. I was wrong. But anyway, where is our fun little Bitcoin rant here? There it is. Bot levels, turns out actually they were quite a bit lower than I had up top here. And actually that makes way more sense. So we already hit the bot target objective. Into the parking garage. Nothing really shocking here. I'm a little bit surprised that this 2.618 and 4.669s were not traded to. We might find, though, you can see there's a couple of trend lines. In fact, there's 3 different trend lines all coming to a head right here. You can see this is like an old high to high trend line. This is a trend line off of the lows, and this is the trend channel that we're in. So you can see all 3 of these come to a confluence right into here. So it doesn't surprise me that this is some sort of major barrier here for price. And also, too, it's 100 grand, big fat round number. So, thinking about Mr. Lee and thinking about things like Collins pump chaser zone and momentum trade setups, what a surprise. And interestingly enough, for the bot setup to take us all the way up top, interesting how we have a 2.618 floating here. Mind you, actually, that's an old one. No, I disregard that. The bot setup to take us all the way up top, because Mr. Lee also said that he figures that Bitcoin could hit 250,000 into next fall. And of course, if that happens, then I'll have plenty of money to go buy Liam his house. And, I think I'm just going to head off into the sunset then. But the point here is just that I do actually very much like the idea that once we're through the inauguration, I think the whole market, given Mr. Trump's first 100 days, there's usually in new presidents, there's a whole bunch of tumult around that first 100 days. What are they going to do? Are they going to kill spending? Which of course, a lot of these zombie companies that are operating here under, Biden and Yellen and all that crap, they just keep the zombie companies going. Just more debt, more debt. You are the slaves of the Rothschilds. Get used to it. Actually, it would be refreshing. And I was even joking with Chris before we got the video going here today. It would be refreshing if we actually lived in a world where you could actually see natural bankruptcies happen, where, this all started to break apart when Mr. Bernanke came out, and of course, another puppet of the fucking Rothschilds, and the old Democrat Party is a puppet of those bankster crooks. Too big to fail. Fuck you. If you do bad business, you should fail. It's just as simple as that. You should fail. And interesting how it turns out that some firms that did bad business, aka Lehman Brothers, who wouldn't help out long-term capital management back in the 90s, they were allowed to fail because that was nothing more than revenge. But companies like Merrill, it was a shotgun wedding with JP Morgan. Companies like Goldman, who actually were part of the problem, floating all this bad debt, were actually elevated to too big to fail status and literally became fucking like, despots in the capital markets. So I would actually enjoy a nice wipeout here across the entire stock market. Unfortunately, though, the public, all of you probably won't like that at all. And so as a result, I think that there will be a correction, but I don't think it's the end of the world. I think it'll just be a natural, healthy correction. And what really is stupid right now is the stock market is so ridiculously highly valued. We used to always say that, 2% movement in the stock market, you actually start paying attention. Well, if you look at the stock market now, it would take at least a 2% correction to, even get anybody's attention. And that's like 1,000 Dow points. So I don't know whether you're ready. That means that we, on any given point in day, we could very easily see the Dow lose 1,000 points, and it wouldn't even get people's attention because the damn Dow is like 43,000. That would mean to get people's attention, right? Good 2.5%, 3%. Holy shit, prices are breaking hard. That means that the Dow has to be down like literally 1,500 points. I don't think that that's if you see the Dow down 1,500 points, the media is going to go absolutely insane like it's some stock market crash. And, on Friday, this event right here, that was, and actually, I think it was Thursday, or it was Wednesday, right after the Fed announcement. That was 1,000, 1,100 points. And you see instantly, in comes the got to keep the damn market up committee. And they just bring the whole damn thing right back. So what this means to me is to actually see a healthy correction, we like literally need to see this thing come off like 10,000 points. And then I'll be like, all right, now at least they're cleaning up the fluff. But what do you think the media is going to say if you see that the Dow is down 10,000 points? They're going to be fucking running around like a chicken without a head, calling that the sky's falling and it's the end of the world. When really all that is just, keep in mind, I think a really good and historical analogy, people over time con themselves into thinking that in 1987, the stock market crashed. It did no such thing, folks. The stock market did not crash in 1987. And this is as an educator, you try and convey this message to people and they just don't get it. But and I think history is going to repeat itself here, folks. Because if we go back, and we got to go way back now, in fact, there's probably not even a lot of people in the market that even remember this now. It's that long ago. Can I go 2 weeks so we can actually see this? But all 1987, 2027, is history maybe going to repeat itself? You tell me. So, think of this as your, the sickness base and all, so sacrifice my life to save capitalism. Then the damn market goes absolutely crazy to the upside because really all this is the great reset, add a zero onto the end of all your prices. Get used to this new reality. That's all that's happening here, folks. And it's just history repeating itself. But you notice this 1987, this was not a crash. All it was just a natural, healthy 50% retracement of this stupidly overbought market. And I have a feeling they're setting us up for exactly the same thing. Now, the interesting thing here is that I don't think that the US is in a crash scenario, right? We are technically into the greed cycle. So that means that, and you see what happened. Was 87 actually a crash? There is the end of that respective greed cycle, right? This was the beginning of the greed cycle, 1980, right there. And there was the end of the greed cycle right there. Was that really a crash? Or did this do nothing more than just sort of set the base for the actual real bull market that was about to come? Right? Might even be able to do Bombs off of this, and probably 877s were that level. Oh, what a surprise. Hey, Brian's getting pretty good at this predicting shit. So the point I would just make here is I think that an event like this is coming down the pike, but this was 87. Does that maybe get delayed until 27? Sure. In fact, you talk to a lot of people and they're basically saying the end of this fucking decade is going to be the end of the world. So I could very easily see a scenario like that, but it's not a crash in the United States. And if anything, the United States is going to do perfectly fine through all of this. Where is this actually a crash and it's the end of the world? It's everywhere else in the world. So, your China's, from what I understand, and you don't have to listen to the Beamish. Go and listen to our little Chinese lady. She's awesome. She's basically saying that, and go watch any of the videos from my YouTube feed. I mean, fucking China's a joke. It's an absolute fucking joke. What's going on over there right now? So there's where your disaster is. Look at Russia. God, can you imagine being a fucking typical Joe Sixpack living in Russia right now? What a shit show. That's where your disaster is going to be. And I hate to say it, this stupid idiot who took over my country there a few years ago, I think, 9 years ago now, and he has completely fucked this place. I think that China here, but you can actually see we're only about halfway through. There's still another leg higher to go here until we get to that ultimate peak, wherever the hell that is, right? And I think that comes in probably like 27, 28. And I could very easily see, if we just, just simple extrapolation. I think that's the right word I'm looking for. And what time is it? Oh, Jesus, I got to get out of here. All right, well, we'll wind this up here just with this kind of thought. I could very easily see that scenario happen here for China. So they're going to run it up. There'll be a big crash. And of course, all this is doing in this particular case, they're just backing the market up against a previous support line. But that's basically what I'm thinking here over the next couple of years. And the interesting thing is I don't think this really happens now, but I could definitely see this start to develop as we move through the Trump years. Because keep in mind, Reagan, he came into power in 84 and everything was all rah, rah, rah. You had the 84, 85, 86 bull market. Whoa, I remember Millhouse's mom's jacuzzi suit? That was the go-go 90s. Oh, well. Anyway, but at the end of this decade, I could see real problems. I don't think it's going to happen here now, though. My hunch is that this will be just a normal, healthy cleanup. Yeah, you might see the corn come off. Hell, you might even see, here we are in 90s and, Tom's basically calling 60, 70. You might see this thing drop 20, 30 grand here. I could easily see that. Wouldn't shock me at all. And of course, the media will spin this as the fucking end of the world. And of course, this has to be regulated because it's some sort of crazy scandal or something. And yet, it's just business as usual. So anyway, there you go. I don't know whether you enjoyed that, got any value out of that. Sure hope you did. I did hear some people not tweeting, but messaging me. So maybe we'll just take a quick boo and hear you daily brief requests. DDBB sending me messages. I'll respond to you after I come back from Liam. Peter Brandt's chiming in about crypto. This is a head and shoulders top pattern. Oh boy, yeah. I think I even just showed you that on the what was it, on the futures there. It might fail with a thrust higher, or it might morph into something else. Well, thank you for that solid call there, Mr. Brandt. And he, for whatever it's worth, if you follow Peter, he always does that. Well, it might do this, but it might do that. So good luck. And really, if anything, this is the whole thing. We don't really want to get into the business of predicting what's going to happen. I would have rather him said, okay, this might be a head and shoulders. And if it is, then I'll go short at this level and my stop will be at this level. And if the trade works, then I'll take profits at this level and just leave it at that. That's all you need to say. I hate this sort of, well, it might do this, it might do that, because I don't give a shit what your opinion is. Your opinion doesn't mean anything to me. Anyway, you all know what I think of all of your opinions, and you also know what I think about setups. Trade your fucking setups. All right, let's see what we got here. Excellent trade location tool. I would now drill down to lower time frames. The asset didn't went well. It went below the initial support. Okay, is that a question? I'm not quite sure what that is. Boom, 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 boom. It'd be interesting to see if there's a nice big W that comes in there. I'm not even quite sure what this person's looking at. And, just to placate you guys, I'll take a look at this and then I'll head on the way. XING on Solana. Okay, so let's start off the conversation with, I hope you understand that these assets listed on Solana, a lot of them are kind of sketchy. I think I was talking about a higher time frame chart here, and just basically saying that where did that go? I think this person was asking up here. Where's my answer? Okay. Do we have a TRI setup for trading support and resistance? Yeah, that's the old Nebraska FU setup, who actually Craig in our day trader room, if you want to be a badass day trader, he trades the Nebraska FU setup, but he's made it so pro. So now we call it the CFU setup. Craig, fuck you setup. Screw Nebraska. Although I think we've like literally sent Top Step about, well, at least a dozen traders over the years. I know we've got a whole bunch of them working over there now. So have I ever gotten a word of thanks from any of those guys over there? No. Johnny Hoagland, he thinks the world of me, but man, Johnny Hoagland, he's awesome. He loves everybody. Okay, so man, you're still live. What the fuck? Yeah, I know. I got to get out of here. Yeah, in fact, it's 12 minutes past the hour. We can dig through this Karim here in the video tomorrow. And if anything, I'll speak to this, but I don't even actually see a specific question here. So last time I posted a whole bunch of answers to people. So you're right. I got to get the hell out of here. Off to Liam now, and I don't want to be driving after dark. So I think we'll just leave the video at that. So I hope you got some value out of that. Hit the like button, subscribe, ring Colleen's bell, all that kind of fun stuff. You can sign up for this free newsletter that's disseminated out on a weekly basis when we do this. I even give you ideas that I'm buying right now. So you can't say I'm full of shit. I literally went and bought this today and posted it in Brian's trade room. So I tell you everything that I'm doing. And ironically enough, while I'm accumulating a name like this, I'm actually more than happy to entertain shorting ideas like Ethereum and even Bitcoin for that matter. But I don't really have any trade setups on Bitcoin just as of yet. But I definitely like the idea that if we do see a wave of selling come in here, don't be shocked if you hear me talking over the coming days about this ETH short setup. Yeah, we'll just see what happens, right? Live by the sword, die by the sword. That's a trader's life, whether you like it or not. So let's see. Maybe when I come back, I'll be posting in the lounge that the market traded through this level. If I'm not mistaken, I thought let's go orders. I think this, yeah. So you can see, we'll leave all that on. You can see the sell on stop order is working. So live by the sword, die by the sword. We will see what happens. All right, I think I'm going to leave it at that. If you do want to learn how to, set yourself up to run an effective small business of trading, we do have a new educational program starting here in January. And we run these on the trimester system. So just like, your regular school. So if you are interested in learning how to act like a professional in the marketplace, and I really don't think this guy, actually, it's kind of funny. He even publicly came out years ago. I bought one of his touts and he said, I'm terrible at picking stocks. So don't listen to Alan on how to pick stocks. That's for damn sure. Go look at that. No, what was it? It was Goro, a metal stock. It turns out it totally collapsed. So he's no better at picking stocks than I am. But anyway, what did I want to say here? Yeah. So, if anything, right now at TRI, we're trying to figure out who is this guy in this cycle, because I can guarantee you he is out there. He is plotting to steal your money. So, if anything, as a community, we got to figure out who is this cycle's dam. And of course, if you want to learn how to set yourself up to hunt these kind of ideas, try and build a plan to frame how you're going to participate, what kind of risk you're going to take. Well, new school term here starts in about a week or two. Usually we do it right after the New Year's break. So if you can participate, I would strongly suggest you do so. Then that way, at least by the time that the market should firm up by this eclipse window in March, you'll be all schooled up. Hopefully, you'll have prices on the discount and you'll have a plan as to how you're going to approach all this and what kind of money you're going to risk, where you're going to be trading, all this kind of stuff. And you're setting yourself getting ready for the big push into the end of the year. Because trust me, this is going to be a big push. Hey, even Tom Lee made the call. And I do find it interesting that I've got all these bought targets up top here. And he made the call that he's looking for 250,000 on Bitcoin into the end of the year. So I don't think that that's an accident. So there you go. Have yourselves a great day. PMA for the win. Slow and steady wins a race. Wish me luck on the road with Lily. Thank you very much, Adam. Appreciate the sentiment. And Adam, you might want to go grab some of that gal too while you're at it. Have yourselves a great day. All the best. The only love price anyways. Bye for now.